Daddy. If you like what you see, comment and subscribe.
Sipping on a 40. Yo, I know it's been a minute, huh? Homie, I'm back. Yeah, I said, homie, I'm back.
1 2 1 2. Check.
Hi, Daddy.
Welcome everybody to episode 45 of Mr. Dad Podcast / Videocast. Fuck you, Randy. Man. So, a little backstory. When I first started this, I was like, I'm gonna do 45 episodes, and then I'll be able to just leave it at that. But then life happened. Shit started going around, and I get to 45, and there's still things I want to hit on because I've been thrown curveballs the last few weeks. But I do want to get back to the kids. And I think 45 is going to be a staple for this because I want to talk about the mental health of our kids and what they're going through now in society. So we're all familiar with, social media and things like that, and how, in the past episodes I've been like, yeah, I'm not allowing them to be on it. So my daughter has a TikTok, and because we are adults and we like to monetize things, we are now all on TikTok, but she's been on TikTok for about 2 years, 3 years, maybe. And it's starting to become social media and things like that. So the other day, I just had to call and check her mental health because all the stuff that's going on. And, of course, when a lot of people are putting political things on TikTok, it's not just dancing anymore. It's like it got real. It's not all fun and games, as we like to say. But she was like, yeah, Dad, I'm fine. Like, I'm just on Roblox now. And shout out to Roblox for rebooting because they were supposed to cancel in March. But, of course, COVID happened, and they were like, no, we'll keep it up. And, of course, a lot of people are on. There's a lot more screen time on Roblox. So shout out to them for giving the kids something, an outlet. But I checked on her mental health not only because of the social media thing, but because there's so much going on in the world. Like, period. There's protests, there's COVID-19, and COVID-19 has brought a whole nother set of problems that I never had to deal with as a child. For instance, not having school for long amounts of time. Like, don't get me wrong. When I was a kid, I was super happy to get out of school right around summertime. I was like pumped. Like, yes, school's out. I get 3 months of like boogie party time. But at this point, my daughter is dying to go back to school. My son is dying to go back to school. It's going on 6 months now, or closer to 6 months, which means that by the time they go back to school, they'll be probably out of school for about 7-8 months, right? Does anyone else feel like that's just out of bounds and ridiculous? And then on top of that, there's no school, but you still can't go anywhere. So I'm thinking of this stuff as a kid. Like, if I'm 5 or 6, like my son, and I can't hit the playground, we can't go do nothing. And parents, you got to feel my pain because we're all cooped up in the house with them, and we have to tell them stop 30 times. But then at some point, you just got to let it rock because there's nothing else for them to do. I, for one, just have to constantly remind and check myself because I'm working from home at this point. I got to remind and check myself daily that they are going through it just as much as I am, and probably worse because they haven't been able to do anything. Lack of social interaction is going to screw our kids up. The other day they had a meeting that I knew nothing about. Good job, PUSD, getting that word out. But I knew nothing about this meeting, and 51% of the parents were like, yeah, we want to continue homeschooling our kids. And here's the problem with that is that, like, and of course they're probably going to implement new systems and things like that. But these last like 2-3 months that they were in school, but out of school, I didn't feel like she was learning anything. I felt like she was turning on computers and doing assignments that was review things that she knew. She wasn't getting taught anything new. There was no newer curriculum that was challenging to her. Literally, she was supposed to be on that computer all day and maybe 2 hours, and then she was done. My daughter's bright. She has a 4.0. She's doing great. But I don't want her to slide behind because she is getting worksheets. Like, I know like, if they are going to do something homeschooling like that, they need to actually have classes where, like, they have to check in, sign in to whatever they're doing, and go along with the teacher. She has a whiteboard. She's doing her thing up on the class. Class can hear her. She's talking to the mic. All 25 of her kids can listen, and just like on Teams, like, you can raise your hand by clicking a button, things like that. They can answer your questions. Like, it's gonna have to be way better than what it was on the fly, coming to the end of this last school year. We'll have a situation where we're gonna have a generation of homeschool kids if we don't clear this thing up. And also, outside of the COVID thing and in no school, you got protests, you have political elections coming up, you have the protests being politicized, you have COVID being politicized, and all these are human issues. All these things are things that we should be looking at as human beings, saying, this is what we should do, this is the direction we should go in. For instance, let's stick to COVID-19. That is a virus that is killing. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're rich, you're poor, you're Asian, you're black, you're white, you're Mexican. It doesn't fucking matter. If you are a human, you are dying from it. Why is it that it's starting to be some type of bipartisan issue? Why are we politicizing it as if we shouldn't just be human beings and handle this out? Like, hey, let's all work towards a common goal, because it's COVID-19 is almost like the aliens in Independence Day. If you don't unite, they just gonna blow your shit up with some type of destructive beam. It's really at this point really nasty and sickening in a way to see how people use politics to curve the narratives. Same thing with the Black Lives Matter thing. It's a human issue. All of us are human, regardless of the melanin in our skin. We're all human, and these humans are getting treated worse than these humans. And all these humans want to be civil. It's that simple. However, we make it a political issue. It's stupid. Change the laws so that everyone are equal. Teach the kids that we can be civil, that we can come to agreements as adults. It's so simple for kids to just get it along. Like, they have the little scruffles in their fights, but it's never over skin color and things like that. It's, she used my brush. He won't give me my toy. Like, life is really simple. And if we would have kept it simplistic as possible, there wouldn't be all these issues in this world. But no one wants to look at it like that. I try to teach my kids that there has to be a level of fairness, and you have to be able to stand tall and in all your decisions that you make. And if it makes you feel bad, it's probably not the best thing that you need to do. You know, and I know that people say, hey, that's not realistic, but it is. How do you, everyone has a moral high ground, right? Or everyone has a standard. And most of the time, if it doesn't feel good to you, even if you did it with a smirk on your face, it probably didn't feel good to you. It meant probably shouldn't have did it. And I try to teach my kids that, hey, it's not just black or white. Sometimes there's a gray area. You don't have to pick a side every time. Why can't I like Michael Jackson and Prince? You know? Why do I have to like the Democrats over the Republicans or Republicans over the Democrats? Why can't I just vote for what suits me best? Without all the lies, without all the things. Democrats are super play on your emotions. Republicans are super play on the pockets. Sometimes a little bit more extreme. I watch Fox News sometimes and be like, huh? That one left. But sometimes I watch MSB, NBC, and I'll be like, that one left quickly. But we have to start teaching our kids better so we won't have to worry about them so much. Like, I'm really worried right now about what the next generation looks like. Because if you think about it, anyone that's over the age of 60, they all have this certain stigma that comes with their age about black or white or Mexican or anything. It's like, oh yeah, like those people, you know? And that's probably why we need to stop electing so old in this country. The way that we are picking our politicians is crazy. Like, for instance, why are we choosing these 67-year-old men? Their ideologies are the same of those of the Jim Crow era. Doesn't matter if they're black or white or whatever. Why aren't we choosing people young that have different aspects and aspirations? That's why, like, and a lot of people hate it. They're talking about, yeah, Obama changed the way of the country and all this other stuff. But he was progressive. It's like, hey, let's give some gays some rights. You may not agree with it, but it's a human issue. All humans should be the same. We have to focus on the word human. Because you can say, oh, it's a black person, it's a white person, it's an Asian person, but if you just stick to human, simplistic people. And let's make sure that our kids are looking up to some fucking role models. Let's be adults. Let's be better for them. Parents, I don't know if you guys are checking on your kids' mental health, but maybe sit them down and just ask them how they're feeling. You know, once a week. Hey, how are you feeling? Because it's a lot going on. And I am sure that it affects them just as much as it affects us. We're just blind to it right now because we have our own issues. My mom used to try to shield me from everything. I think the only thing she couldn't shield me from was the O.J. Simpson trial because it was killing my cartoons. And the Rodney King thing because that was killing my cartoons too. It was like, why are these people out here in the street punching people? What the fuck is going on? Where's Bugs Bunny? But now kids have other outlets, but it's all over the place. If they have TikTok or if they have a YouTube channel, or YouTube on their phone, like, you're going to see it. It pops up everywhere. This propaganda is crazy. And that's the whole political knock. The fact that you guys are showing these videos in your campaign slogans on human fucking rights versus saying that it's a bipartisan issue, and it's not. It's human. I don't know, man. I don't know where where this world is going to. But this social war has brought a lot of things to light, and it's nasty, and it's something that I know as a parent I don't want to bring my kids up in. It's painful. It's not a good thing. But yeah, so I don't know. Episode 45, y'all, Mr. Dad. High note, I got some dope ass Father Day gifts. And I really love the fact that my gifts are getting better as time rolls along. I'm getting pictures with pillows. I'm getting Rubik's Cubes with their pictures on it. It's been dope, man. Like, that's the shining light out of all this craziness, is that I can look to my kids and they can still bring that smile to my face. You know? Even with all the fear and the frustration and the anguish that's floating around in the air. Like, that love is always going to overpower it, penetrate it. So keep the kids young. Make sure their mental health is right. Make sure that they're not fucking soaking around like we are as parents right now, because we're reeling from the world's issues that kids should not be a part of at this point. They should just be happy. Build a swing set in the backyard or something. But anyways, y'all, thanks for listening again. I gotta get out of here and raise these kids.